Welcome to USAX Coin, the ultimate destination for numismatists, coin hunters, and anyone passionate about uncovering the hidden fortunes hiding in everyday pocket change. Today, we are deep diving into a coin that causes an immense amount of confusion among casual collectors, yet holds a fascinating place in modern United States numismatic history. We are talking about the United States quarter dollar that honors the great state of Nevada, bearing the prominent historical date of 1864, along with the D Mint mark representing the Denver Mint. If you have one of these pocket pieces sitting on your desk, tucked away in a jar, or if you recently pulled one out of a vending machine or standard bankroll in circulated fine condition, you are probably asking yourself a crucial question: what is this coin truly worth in today's intense, fast-moving auction market? You may have scrolled through online listing platforms and seen wildly fluctuating prices, ranging from face value all the way up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars claimed by optimistic online sellers. To truly understand the market value of this coin in today's dollar terms, we need to completely dissect the history, clear up the widespread misconception regarding its dual dates, analyze the exact specifications of the circulated fine condition grade, and take an honest look at how modern auction mechanics price this specific piece of American coinage. Let us begin by clearing up the single biggest point of confusion that trips up millions of people who look down at this coin for the very first time. When you flip this coin over to look at its beautifully designed reverse side, your eyes are immediately drawn to two distinct years stamped into the metal, the year 1864 and the year 2006. To the untrained eye, seeing 1864 on a coin immediately triggers daydreams of the American Civil War era. It is incredibly common for people to mistake this for a genuine mid-19th century coin that has somehow survived over 160 years in remarkable condition. However, this coin was not struck in 1864. It was officially minted and released to the public in the year 2006 as part of the United States Mint's highly celebrated 50-state quarters program. The program, which ran from 1999 through 2008, honored each of the 50 states in the order they were admitted into the Union or ratified the Constitution. Nevada entered the Union as the 36th state on October 31, 1864. Therefore, the year 1864 is inscribed on the reverse to commemorate the historic year of Nevada's statehood. The second year featured at the bottom of the reverse design, 2006, is the actual year the United States Mint manufactured the coin. Knowing this distinction is the foundation of properly valuing this coin because the numismatic market handles a 2006 commemorative release completely differently than it would handle a rare, silver quarter actually struck during the Civil War. Now, let us turn our attention to the design and physical anatomy of this specific coin. The obverse features a slightly modified version of John Flanagan classic portrait of George Washington, which has graced the quarter dollar since 1932. Surrounding Washington's profile are the standard federal inscriptions, United States of America, In God We Trust, Liberty, and the denomination, quarter dollar. On the right side of Washington's neck, just below the motto, sits the critical D Mint mark, indicating that this specific coin was produced at the Denver Mint in Colorado. When you flip the coin over to the reverse side, you are treated to a stunning visual composition designed and sculpted by the renowned artist Don Everhart. The design beautifully encapsulates the rugged spirit of the western frontier, showcasing a trio of majestic wild mustangs charging across the landscape, framed by a rising sun peeking out from behind snow-capped desert mountains. Bordering this powerful image is a sprig of sagebrush, which is Nevada's official state flower. Running across the bottom of the central design is a ribbon banner bearing the state's famous historic nickname, the Silver State. To figure out the real value of the 2006 Nevada state quarter in today's auction market, we must look closely at the core economic law governing all numismatics, supply and demand. In the coin collecting world, the ultimate driver of raw value is scarcity. When we examine the official production records from the United States Mint for the year 2006, we discover that the Denver Mint struck a massive total of 272,800,000 Nevada state quarters for general circulation. When you combine that with the 317 million quarters produced at the Philadelphia Mint that same year, the total circulating mintage for the Nevada design surges well past 500 million coins, sitting right at 589,800,000 pieces. Because the United States Mint manufactured hundreds of millions of these quarters, they are far from rare in the traditional numismatic sense. They were deliberately pumped into the commercial banking system so that regular citizens across the country could easily find them in change, collect them from grocery stores, and fill out their map folders. Because the base supply is so massive, a standard 2006 D Nevada quarter does not possess the inherent structural scarcity required to drive standard, base-level values high above its face value. This brings us directly to the specific condition specified for our analysis: circulated fine condition. In numismatics, grading is everything. Professional coin authenticators and collectors use the Sheldon grading scale, which ranges from a low of 1 all the way up to a perfect score of 70. Within this scale, a coin described as being in fine condition typically lands around the fine 12 to fine 15 marks. When a coin is classified as fine, it means it has spent a considerable amount of time moving through cash registers, vending machines, pockets, and coin counters. For a 2006 D Nevada quarter in fine condition, this means the coin will show clear, obvious signs of moderate, even wear across all its highest points. On the obverse, George Washington's hair lines will be visibly flattened, losing much of the crisp, individual strand detail originally present near his ear and the base of his braided ponytail. The fields, the flat, smooth background surfaces of the coin, will show a network of tiny hairline scratches, minor scuffs, and small contact marks from bumping into other coins in circulation. On the reverse side, the fine details of the 3 wild mustangs will be worn down, the distinct muscles in their shoulders, the crisp lines of their flowing manes, and the sharp separation of their hooves will be noticeably smoothed out. Additionally, the sharp ridges on the snow-capped mountain peaks will look softened, and the letters in the words, "The Silver State" and "Nevada 1864" might show a bit of rounding along their edges. Crucially, however, the coin remains completely identifiable, all inscriptions are fully readable, the rims are completely intact, and it has not suffered any major, catastrophic post-mint damage like deep gouges, bends, or harsh chemical cleaning. So, how does the current auction market value a 2006 D Nevada quarter in this exact circulated fine condition? If we look at major, elite numismatic auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Stack's Bowers, firms that regularly broker sales of ultra-rare, multi-thousand-dollar coins, we find that they almost never list single, raw, circulated modern state quarters. The transaction costs, cataloging fees, and shipping expenses involved in running a major auction make it completely unfeasible to sell individual coins of high mintage and common condition. Therefore, if you walk into a traditional brick-and-mortar coin shop or try to sell a single, regular circulated fine 2006 D Nevada quarter on the open market today, its realistic value stands right at its legal tender face value, exactly 25 cents. Because hundreds of millions are readily available, collectors are unwilling to pay a premium for a coin that shows moderate wear when they can easily find the exact same coin in brilliant uncirculated condition for less than $1 at any local coin show. However, the modern coin market has evolved dramatically, and we cannot ignore the massive influence of online marketplace auctions like eBay, where a totally different micro-market exists. If you search online auction listings, you will occasionally see circulated Nevada quarters listed for highly unusual prices, sometimes $5, $50, or even upward of $500. It is incredibly vital for content creators and coin hunters to understand what is actually happening behind those numbers. In many cases, these high-priced listings are created by novice sellers who genuinely confuse the 1864 statehood date for the production year, erroneously believing they have stumbled upon an incredibly rare Civil War relic. In other instances, these listings represent highly speculative, buy it now, or opening bid prices set by sellers hoping to catch an uneducated buyer off guard. When evaluating an auction market, experienced numismatists never look at the active asking price. Instead, they filter strictly by sold listings to see what real, educated buyers are actually paying with their hard-earned money. When you look at verified completed transactions for a standard, raw, worn 2006 D Nevada quarter, the true market price consistently settles back down to face value, or occasionally a minor premium of a few cents if sold as part of a massive, bulk lot of mixed-state quarters meant for beginners filling out albums. But do not let this discourage you, because this is exactly where the true thrill of numismatics begins. While a standard circulated 2006 Nevada quarter is worth a quarter, the entire narrative flips completely on its head if your specific coin happens to harbor a rare, confirmed mint error or a major die variety. Mint errors are accidental anomalies that occur during the high-speed stamping process at the Denver Mint, turning an otherwise common 25-cent coin into an incredibly valuable prize that collectors will aggressively fight over in today's auction market. If your circulated fine Nevada quarter contains one of these verified errors, its value can skyrocket into tens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars, even with noticeable wear from circulation. The first major error type you must meticulously hunt for on your Nevada quarter is a die cap or a severe struck-through error. During production, the mint presses operate at blistering speeds, stamping out hundreds of coins per minute under immense pressure. Occasionally, a newly struck quarter fails to eject properly from the coining press and becomes stuck to one of the steel dies. When the press comes down to stamp the next blank planchet fed into the machine, the stuck coin acts as a buffer. This results in a coin that is struck through another coin, leaving one side completely blank, highly distorted, or showing a faint, ghost-like mirror image of the design on the wrong side. If you happen to find a 2006 Nevada quarter that suffered a dramatic struck-through or die cap malfunction at the mint, collectors at auction will gladly pay anywhere from $50 to well over $200 for it, because these visual anomalies are highly prized and exceptionally rare to pull out of standard circulation. The second highly lucrative error category to look for is an off-center strike. This happens when the circular copper-nickel planchet is not properly aligned or fails to sit squarely within the collar die at the moment the heavy steel die is slammed down. As a result, the design is stamped off to one side, leaving a distinct, crescent-shaped portion of the coin completely blank and smooth. The value of an off-center strike is determined by two main factors: the exact percentage that the design is shifted off the coin, and whether or not the key identifying details, specifically the mint mark and the dates, remain fully visible on the metal. If you find a Nevada quarter that is struck 10% to 20% off-center, it will generally command a solid premium of $20 to $50 at auction. However, if you discover a dramatic strike that is 50% off-center, creating a spectacular, highly distorted shape, but the critical D mint mark and the 1864 or 2006 dates are still perfectly preserved on the remaining design, you are looking at a coin that can easily command $150 to $300 or more in an intense online auction bidding war. Collectors absolutely adore these dramatic geometric errors because they are incredibly eye-catching and instantly stand out in any display case. Another phenomenal mint error to train your eyes to spot is a double strike. This occurs when a planchet is struck normally once, fails to exit the coining chamber, rotates or shifts slightly, and is immediately slammed by the dies a second time. This leaves a spectacular overlapping double image on the surface of the metal. You might see two distinct profiles of George Washington overlapping on the obverse, or multiple sets of Mustangs and dual horizons cutting across the reverse. A clear, dramatic double strike error on a modern state quarter is a holy grail find for roll hunters. Even in a circulated fine grade, a confirmed double-struck 2006 Nevada quarter can easily pull in anywhere from $200 to over $500 in today's active numismatic market, depending entirely on how clear and visually striking the secondary design elements are. Furthermore, you should carefully inspect the edges and surfaces of your coin for dramatic planchet errors. Sometimes, the long strips of metal fed into the blanking machines have structural defects. If a quarter is struck on a defective planchet that was pre-chipped, or if it was stamped on a planchet that was clipped during production, leaving a smooth, crescent-shaped bite taken out of the edge, it carries a significant premium. A clear clipped planchet error on a Nevada quarter can easily fetch between $15 and $45 at auction. Even more valuable are wrong planchet errors, which happen when a blank intended for a completely different denomination accidentally finds its way into the quarter stamping press. For instance, if a quarter die strikes a 5-cent nickel blank or a 10-cent dime blank, the coin will weigh the wrong amount, will be composed of a different metal alloy, and parts of the quarter design will be completely cut off because the planchet was too small for the dies. Finding a 2006 state quarter struck on a wrong planchet is an absolute jackpot. These elite errors routinely command anywhere from $400 to over $1,000 when they hit the auction block, as they represent catastrophic, incredibly rare breakdowns in the U.S. Mint's strict quality control protocols. Finally, you must closely examine your coin under strong magnification for die cracks, chips, and what collectors call cuts. As steel coin dies age, the immense pressure of striking hundreds of thousands of coins causes the metal to fatigue, crack, and eventually break down. When a die develops a microscopic crack, the raw metal of the planchet squeezes up into that crack during the strike, creating a raised, irregular line of metal on the finished coin. If a piece of the die breaks away entirely near the border, it leaves a large, raised, blank smooth blob of metal on the rim of the coin known as a cut. While small die cracks or tiny chips on the mountain peaks or horses' manes might only add a few dollars of novelty value, a massive, fully formed cut error that obliterates a portion of the rim and design can easily drive the auction value of a circulated quarter up into the $50 to $100 range. These are the exact types of micro varieties that make coin hunting so incredibly rewarding, because you can easily overlook them if you are just glancing quickly at your pocket change. Ultimately, the story of the United States Nevada quarter dollar with the historic 1864 date and the D mint mark is a classic tale of numismatic education. If your coin is a standard, regular business strike issue that has seen regular use and sits in a circulated fine condition grade, it remains a beautiful piece of modern history that honors the admission of the Silver State into the Union during a pivotal moment in American history, but its monetary value in today's auction market stands strictly at its face value of 25 cents. However, if you take the time to inspect that coin under a magnifying glass or a digital microscope, looking closely for off-center strikes, dramatic double stampings, struck-through anomalies, or wrong planchets, you might just be holding a hidden numismatic treasure worth hundreds of dollars. Always remember to check your change carefully, study the fine details of every coin you hold, handle your finds by the edges to preserve their condition, and keep hunting. Thank you for watching USAX Coin, and happy hunting out there in the field.